is Dr. Sepi. I'm a naturopathic practitioner. My doctorate is in phytotherapy and herbiology. I specialize in three major sectors of herbal medicine in Ayurvedic, traditional Chinese and Western herbal medicine. I'm the author of Learn Reiki Mastery and Herbs Medicine that will be published in 2 months, Herbs Medicine. I'm also a yoga teacher and I deliver Dharma teachings as a lay Buddhist. I'm the founder of Herb Hill Animal Rescue Farm, which currently houses lots of animals and a really cool hedgehog. So, my speech today is to shine light on matters that perhaps our society is blind to, things that we should have learned, but we didn't. So my speech is in 2 parts: biological advantages of a vegan lifestyle and the spiritual advantages of a vegan lifestyle. So the first part, we are accustomed by each other, by society, by our parents, growing up, by schools and institutions, to believe things like we need calcium for strong bones, we need meat for protein. Now, how many of you were told this as a child? The white spots underneath your nails is because of lack of calcium.
Yeah.
My mother is here. She told me this. Actually, what the white spots are underneath your nails, it just means that you banged it against the hard surface. It's the equivalent of a bruise on your skin. That's all it is. Nothing to do with calcium. It's funny, isn't it? We get told these little things as we're growing up. And quite frankly, they're just not true. So I'm going to talk about topics that our parents, the society, the schools, and the institutions failed to teach us. Like, let's start with dairy. The dairy industry is the second largest, most profitable industry after the meat industry. And like with any subject, if there's mass amount of money in play, bulk advertising is a great way to tell the population your product is what they need. And that's exactly what the dairy industry did. It made us humans believe that we need cow's milk, otherwise our bones will go brittle and dust and we will just be a bag of flesh. So, let's talk about facts. Whether milk comes from a giraffe, a dog, a human, or any other species for that matter, it is infant food. It belongs to the mother's baby. And when this infant food, in any form, whether cheese or milk in your coffee or in a cake, touches the enzymes in your mouth, it signals to the rest of your body that you're growing. So your body produces growth hormone and you're an adult. Now growth hormone has nowhere to go because you're no longer growing. So one of the leading causes of bone inflammation diseases is dairy, and here's why. Your bone marrow is forced to release its minerals in order to compound the growth hormone, causing brittle bones. So it actually does the exact opposite to everything we've been taught. Bone inflammation diseases are things like arthritis, osteoporosis, rheumatoid arthritis, anything that causes the bones and the tissues around the bones to inflame. But that's not all that dairy causes. Before I go on to the other conditions, I want you to think about this for a minute. There is no other species other than our own on this planet that suffers with bone inflammation diseases in the world. No elephant, no giraffe, no lions, no wild animal suffers from arthritic issues. You know why? They stop drinking milk when they are adults. That's the truth. So, dairy also causes skin conditions. Now, the skin is the largest organ of the body, and when the blood is polluted and the lymphatic system is unable to clear it out, the skin is activated in order to help the body along and opens its pores and starts to depollute the body. So we get eczema, acne, dermatitis. This is the body's attempt to clear itself. So what I found in my practice is most people with skin issues, if they stop eating dairy, the skin gets better. Even if they were to eat meat, the skin still gets better. But that's not all dairy is linked to, and we have studies to prove these things. We have clinical trials that have proven this already. Dairy consumption is also linked to breast cancer, prostate cancer, and obesity. Obesity is the breeding ground for all other diseases. Now, we're going to go into that a little bit more. The truth is that this milk was produced by a mother to give to her baby to turn a tiny little cute little baby cow into a 400-pound cow. Dairy in any form is harmful for an adult, especially when it comes from another species. And I saw a meme on Facebook once and it said, I found it shocking that one industry has managed to convince the most intelligent species on this planet that they have the same nutritional value as a baby cow. It resonated. Now let's move on to meat. In the science community, we now have evidence that animal protein digested directly from meat is the leading cause of autoimmune diseases. Autoimmune diseases is when the body attacks a cell. When you eat animal tissue, the body confuses that tissue as its own and triggers an autoimmune attack. Once autoimmune is triggered, it takes months, even years, to get the body back to homeostasis or back to harmony, back to balance. Consumption of animal protein causes digestive system issues too. It causes havoc on the digestive system. Animal protein can't be digested. The liver has to send enzymes for the capillaries in order to break down animal protein into amino acids in order for the body to absorb it. This process takes a whole lot of energy. That's why meat eaters are very sluggish and tired after their meal, yet a plant-based or a vegan person is energetic. But animal protein doesn't just cause havoc on the digestive system, it also has damaging side effects to the bowels. Now, this is perhaps the one thing I want you to take away from this. If you leave here and you want to tell somebody, oh, this is what I heard, this is what I want you to tell them. One bowel movement a day is not enough. It is not enough. Actually, that is really not healthy. It's constipating. And here's why. Animal protein is very dense. We need fiber for bowel movement. And animal protein, it being very dense, causes constipation. So, one second, I've lost where I was. Right. Now, I'm going to show you just on myself, right? People think this is your stomach, this is not your stomach is here, your stomach is this big, okay? Now, you first break down mechanism of your body, your teeth, you chew your food, okay, it goes down into the stomach. The stomach produces gastric acid and enzymes in order to break down the food even further. It then sends it to the small intestine, which is That's okay. Which then sends it into the small intestine. The small intestine's job is to take the nutrition from the food that you digested and then prepare for delivering to your organs that need it. And then the food, the waste of your food, gets sent to your big intestine, which is around here. Now the big intestine's job is to turn this excess waste into feces to receive into the bowels. So then it gets into the bowels. You should have a bowel movement within an hour, but you don't. Most of us that ate meat before didn't. And this is what I see. I've seen hundreds of people in my clinic, and the first thing, as soon as they say they're meat eaters, I'm like, how many bowel movements are you having? Some people say twice a week. Some people say once a day. I've had people that go once every 2 weeks and they think it's okay. They think everyone else is like that because they never talked about it. It's crazy. And elimination of waste is probably the most important thing of your body. Imagine if you never took the rubbish out of your kitchen. How bad would it be, right? So the food now turns into feces and is sitting in the bowels. Now, you don't have a bowel movement and you eat again. So same mechanism, teeth, stomach, small intestine, big intestine, turns into feces, gets to the bowels. The bowels are full. So what do the bowels do? Takes the moisture out of the feces, pumps it into the bloodstream to make more room for the movement that is coming down. Now, For most people, that happens 2 or 3 times a day. So all that pollution, all that moisture from the feces is now in their bloodstream. So what happens from here? The lymphatic system starts to suffer because it's an overdrive, it's being overtaxed. What is the lymphatic system? What does the lymphatic system do? Let's talk about that. It's the most important system of your body. If it works perfectly, you will never get sick. It removes toxins, deals with pathogens, is the vehicle for the nervous system and delivers neurons and electrons. It delivers hormones, maintains body fluid, absorbs digestive tract fats, removes cellular waste, deals with transportation of white blood cells, and even deals with cancer cells. If your lymphatic system is working, you will never get sick. When the lymphatic system is not working properly, then so many things start to go wrong. So many things. So now, just imagine, the person ate the steak, they're heavily constipated, they've got this moisture from the feces in their bloodstream, the lymphatic system goes, I can't do this anymore, and gives up. Okay? Or is doing the very bare minimum. Now the body is a breeding ground for disease. Now things like cancer, infections, pathogens that are external, that are coming in, like colds and flus, the body can't fight. So then they have all these issues and they go to the GP. The GP gives them synthetic drugs. The synthetic drugs have side effects, and then they're stuck in this catch-22. They're not getting better. They don't know why. And what I do in my clinic is people come to me when they have been failed by Western medicine, when they have no other choice. And it could be a minor issue but big to them. They might not be dying, but they're like, I can't eat, and every time I eat I throw up, or I have this terrible skin condition, I can't sleep at night, I'm so constipated. I had a woman who hadn't had a period in 5 years. She wasn't menstruating in 5 years and she was only 28 years old. And I said to her, how many vitamins are you having? She said, oh, once a week maybe, once every 10 days maybe. And she was getting a Lutrapros treatment, which is a machine that pumps hormones into her every 2 hours. Okay? Crazy. And even after that, she still wasn't menstruating. So she came to me and I treated her bowels. I didn't treat anything else, just her bowels. I gave her some herbs as a laxative. We made some changes to her vegan diet. And within 2 weeks, she started menstruating. She has having her bowel movements every day, then twice a day. And now she's fine. And it's been 6 weeks. Yet she was on Lutrapros for several months and did nothing for her. So last time I was here, I actually did talk about a few people that I treated, I'm going to use 2 of those examples because I think they're really good, because we always know somebody who's got diabetes too, or at least high sugar. So I actually treated a man in his 40s with diabetes too. He came to me with numb feet. He didn't know that was a side effect of diabetes. He just said, I have numb feet, and tingles in my feet, and then they go numb, I don't know what's wrong, blah, blah, blah. So I said to him, let's reverse your diabetes too. You don't have to suffer with this. So we started on a vegan diet, and we did this very gradually. Now here's why it works. Diabetes 2 is not caused by sugar. It is caused by animal fat sitting in the arteries and stopping the sugar from being absorbed into the bloodstream. When you gradually go on a vegan diet, and you cannot do this overnight, it has to be gradual. If you do this too quick, the fat will melt too fast, too much sugar will be in the blood, and you cause the person diabetes 1. So what you do is very gradually over the course of a few weeks, you decrease the amount of animal fat and you uptake the vegan diet. And then until they are fully vegan and they are fully on a vegan diet, they reverse their condition. He went back to the doctors and he got the all clear, and the doctors were obviously shocked. How did she do it? But it really is that simple. It's not that hard. You don't need to be on medication for the rest of your life. And actually, that brings a quote to mind. hypocrites that said it, eat thy medicine as if it's your food, or you will eat medicine as thy food. Now, next patient. I treated a man with early signs of prostate cancer, which Western medicine wanted him to receive hormone therapy with chemotherapy for 6 to 8 months. However, he came to me, and we received no synthetic drugs. And also, again, we went on the vegan diet. I gave him a very minimal amount of herbs, and 4 months later, he got the all clear. So how do we do it? With every bite you eat, it is either fighting disease or aiding it. And that is probably the only explanation I have. Because cancer is not something that comes outside, it's not something that enters. It is a bunch of cells that have gone havoc within the body, start to cluster, attach themselves to an organ, and the body grows a vein in order to keep this organ alive. It is the body that created it, the body can uncreate it. We have to give the body the right tools to do so. So, I was in the audience last time I was here, and I listened to some of the questions people were asking to the speaker, and I figured perhaps this is what you'll want to know. Nutrition. What do we need? Do we need B12? What if I go vegan? Do I need protein? So if you want to take your phone out and take notes or write them down in a book, if you have a pen and paper, which you please do. If not, my leaflets have been on the seats, and it's a wonderful ringtone. It's a beautiful ringtone. My leaflets are on the seats, and my contact details are on there. You can always email me if you have any questions, or call me, or text me, doesn't matter, but that is the contact details for my clinic. So, let's start with protein. The human body does not need protein, it needs amino acids. The body spends way too much breaking down protein to make it to amino acids to absorb it, so worry less about protein, eat more vegetables. Okay? That is, and you get that in leafy greens, beans, legumes. You have enough protein, I promise you. Now, B12. B12 is needed for red blood cells, and DNA is the key player in functioning and development of nerve cells and the brain. Now, you need 2,000 micromilligrams in a week. You can take this by adding a supplement to your diet, okay? Now, the lack of B12 can actually cause brain damage. It's really important to remember that. It is very hard to get B12, enough B12 from food. But you can from fortified cereals, for example, or soya milk. But I found it better to add at least 1,500 micromilligrams as a supplement into my diet every week. Come in. Thanks. So the next, iodine. Iodine is needed for the thyroid, otherwise the thyroid cannot produce hormone without it. Foods that contain iodine are plants from the sea, like seaweed, nori, algae, spirulina, but also prunes and plums, cranberries, and an excellent choice is Himalayan or sea salt instead of table salt. They have traces of iodine, so they get your iodine levels up. Now you only need 150 micromilligrams per day and 220 micromilligrams if you're pregnant. Zinc. Zinc maintains a healthy immune system and keeps inflammation at bay. And when it comes to fighting pathogens, colds and flus, bacteria, viruses, that kind of thing, zinc is the #1 supporter of the immune system. Now, foods such as cashews, almonds, Brazilian nuts, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, lentils, beans, green peas, mushrooms, avocado, or even ginger root. Now, this is not, I'm giving you a small amount of foods, but it's not the full list. For the full list, you can go onto my website, click on articles, and click on 5 important minerals, and you can get the full breakdown of what I'm talking about now. Now you need 8 milligrams of zinc for women, 11 milligrams for men, and about 13 for pregnant women daily. Magnesium. Magnesium is needed for 300 chemical reactions in the body, including blood sugar regulations and heart pumping. Foods such as raspberries, bananas, figs, lentils, sunflower seeds are excellent and high and rich in magnesium. Men need around 400 to 420 milligrams per day. Women need 320 to 360 milligrams per day, and pregnant women around 400. Now 2 more. Calcium. I won't bore you with any more. Calcium, needed for bones and teeth, especially bone density. Foods such as kale, cress, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts are amazing for the body, and you don't need to know. Now, the body absorbs 30% of the calcium consumed. It accounts for 2% of the body weight and 39% of the mineral content. So long you eat healthy, you don't actually have to worry if you eat enough calcium. If you have your vegetables which are different every day, you really don't have to worry about it. The same goes for iron, an essential mineral for oxygen transportation. Without it, the body cannot produce hemoglobin, the component of red blood cells that transport oxygen to the body tissues. It's also needed to help the immune system fight pathogens. Foods like broccoli, pine nuts, seeds of the sunflower, apricots, white beans, lentils, or wheat bran are great for iron intake. Again, just like calcium, if you eat healthy, you don't have to worry if you get enough iron. Okay? Now, let's move on to the spiritual aspect of a vegan lifestyle. The reason why I couple this with the biological advantages is because you are not pieces of biological tissue on a physical plane. That is not what you are, okay? I quite like the quote, you don't have a spirit, you are a spirit, you have a body. There's a reason why we say my car, my house, my body, because a body is also a possession. It's something that we own, something we take care of, we feed it, we rest it, we clean it. It's something that we take care of. And at the end of our expiration date on this planet, we give the body back to the earth and we live on. So, you're not a human being having a spiritual experience, you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And I'm going to back it up with science. So, Bruce Lipton, a renowned biologist, spoke in his book Biology of Belief about this, and he said, atoms are fundamentally made out of energy. Inside of an atom, there's absolutely nothing but energy. And if atoms make up molecules, and molecules make up cells, and cells make up tissues, so on, eventually making humans, aren't we fundamentally constructed out of energy? And I quite like the question, who are you? If I say to you, who are you? You're going to give me your name. If I take that away, who are you? You might tell me your job, I'm a teacher. If I take that away, who are you? You might say, I'm a parent. If I take your offspring away, who are you? And you come to a halt. Do you know the answer to this is the same for everybody? I am energy. And by that we mean spirit. Your spirit is connected to everything. Everything. Your spirit is not a drop in the ocean, you're the whole ocean in a drop. So let's talk about the biological evidence of you having a spirit and how you're connected to everything. Between 2 halves of your brain, there's a tiny little organ as big as a grain of rice called the pineal gland. This tiny, tiny organ is 10 times more protected than the brain, and yet its functioning is nowhere near as the brain or brain activity. Here's what it does. It releases a hormone called serotonin when the light hits your eyes. It signals to your body that it's daytime, so the pineal gland releases serotonin to signal to the rest of your body, get up. And then equally, when you go to bed, it releases the hormone melatonin, which signals to the rest of your body, you need to sleep. But that's not why this tiny little organ is 10 times more protected than the brain. It is because it holds a very important molecule called DMT. This molecule is released twice in your lifetime, when you're born and when you die. Furthermore, scientists realize that this molecule is in all animals, regardless of their shape, regardless of their size, regardless of their habitat, regardless of how long ago they existed. They all have it. Every mammal, every reptile, every bird, every sea animal has this molecule. Why? What do we all share? In 1991, Dr. Rick Strassman got FDA approval in America to conduct an 11-year research on DMT. Now, I won't bore you with the ins and outs of the research, but I am going to tell you the conclusion. He concluded DMT is a spirit molecule. It is what holds the spirit to the body. If it's removed, the body will instantly die. So that means that all animals, all humans have a spirit. We all have spirits. And somehow we are biologically connected by this molecule. So in some way we have that in common. Hippocrates said, the soul is the same in all living creatures, although the body of each is different. And I couldn't agree with that more. As a practicing Buddhist and a yogi, it was obvious for me that there is a karmatic rhythm when it comes to harming animals. Because essentially, if we are all connected, if I harm an animal, I'm harming myself. If I harm you, I'm harming myself. If I harm a sea creature, I'm harming myself. So it means that we are in this collective consciousness. We are one, and we are so connected. And we forget that, don't we? We forget how connected we actually are. So this karmic rhythm, what happens when we kill an animal and we eat them? See, human beings are the only ones that discriminate. Karma does not discriminate. A life is a life. A rat's life and a dog's life and a human's life is exactly the same. It does not discriminate. We put value on this. This is a human trait. We put value on a child's life to an adult's life. Karma doesn't. It's the same life, the same right to life as we all have. So when we harm animals, and it doesn't matter if you go to a supermarket and you buy meat, okay? You are paying for the harming to take place. When we harm animals in any way, shape, or form, we suffer the consequences. And in most cases, I believe, in my humble opinion, that these consequences are called disease related to the animal proteins that we consume. So if you ate steak every day and you suffer a heart attack, that's your karma. So now, when it comes to karma, it doesn't necessarily always mean you're going to get the same. So if I were to take a knife, attack a pig, kill a pig, and eat a pig, I might not get the same karma back. No one's going to attack me and eat me, but I might just get that heart attack, because of what I did. So karma doesn't, we sometimes can't relate the link. We think that kind, it's not karma, everyone does it, everyone eats meat, everyone's doing it. We've done it since the beginning of time. But we said that about slavery too. We said that about all the horrific events that took place on this planet. We said that about it too. Everyone does it. We've been doing it for a long time. Now, the spiritual advantages, and honestly, I can detect to it because there's a lot of people that have left my clinic vegan. There's a lot of my yoga students have turned vegan, and I hear their reports of their lives. I hear their path, their journeys in their life. And they come back, and it's not always of I feel healthier, but it's things like my fate has changed, my destiny has changed, I got my dream job, I'm just so at peace, I'm happy, I'm this. That's the karmic rhythm. You do good, you receive good. It is that simple. Your fate is in your own hands. Your destiny is in your own hands. Your dreams can come true. You have to choose peace. And I wholeheartedly say this, peace starts on your plate. Thank you.